Welcome back, everyone, to another fascinating and exciting journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where history, art, and pure luck meet to create stories that captivate collectors and treasure hunters around the world. Today, we're diving into the incredible tale of one of the most astonishing and mysterious coins in American history, the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty Penny. A coin that has shocked the numismatic community because of its unbelievable estimated value of $63 million. That's right, a single penny, worth just 1 cent in face value, has become one of the most valuable coins on Earth due to a series of minting errors, rare variations, and historical quirks that make it truly one of a kind. So stay with me till the end as we unfold the amazing secrets behind the 1985 Lincoln cent, why it's worth a fortune, what makes it different from ordinary pennies, and how even a small mistake can turn a tiny copper coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The story of the 1985 Lincoln penny begins in a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning between different production standards and refining the materials used in coinage. The 1980s were a period of change for the Lincoln cent. Just a few years earlier, in 1982, the composition of the penny had shifted from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a new zinc core coated with copper. This change was made because copper prices were skyrocketing, making it more expensive to produce the coins than their face value. However, these changes in composition, along with the introduction of new dies, presses, and quality control measures, also led to a variety of minting mistakes and transitional errors. The 1985 Lincoln cent was struck right in the middle of this new era, and that is where the magic and mystery of this coin truly begins. The Lincoln penny, designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909, is one of the most iconic and longest-running coin designs in the history of the United States. On the obverse side, we see the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, symbolizing freedom, leadership, and the spirit of American perseverance. On the reverse, during the year 1985, the design still featured the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design itself seems simple, but every small detail, the lines of the memorial, the spacing of the letters, the shine of the metal plays a role in identifying whether a coin is ordinary or extraordinary. Now imagine this: somewhere among the billions of Lincoln cents produced in 1985, a small handful, or perhaps even just one coin, left the mint floor with errors so rare that experts and collectors were left speechless when they examined it. The coin that would later be valued at $63 million was reportedly discovered by chance, maybe in an old collection, a coin roll from a bank, or in change given back at a store. What looked like an ordinary penny turned out to be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The first and most significant factor that makes the 1985 Lincoln cent so valuable is the mint error related to its composition. While most 1985 pennies were made of a zinc core with a copper plating, there are strong indications that the rare $1 million specimen was struck on a leftover 95% copper planchet, the kind that was supposed to be phased out after 1982. This is known as a transitional error, a phenomenon that occurs when a coin from one era is mistakenly struck using materials or equipment from an earlier period. Because the mint produces millions of coins daily, small leftovers sometimes get mixed into new production batches. A 1985 penny struck on a copper planchet instead of zinc would weigh approximately 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams. That small difference might sound insignificant, but in the world of coin collecting, that detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and tens of millions of dollars. Collectors have found that this particular 1985 penny has all the hallmarks of a transitional planchet error. Its color is slightly different, a deeper, more reddish tone typical of copper rather than the pale shade of modern zinc coins. When dropped gently, it emits a clearer, ringing sound rather than the dull thud of a zinc penny. These clues immediately caught the attention of coin experts who began analyzing it more closely. But the story doesn't end there, because this coin's value isn't just in its metal composition. It also carries one of the rarest mint mark anomalies ever documented in modern U.S. coinage. On the obverse of the coin, beneath the date 1985, sits the familiar D mint mark, indicating that it was produced at the Denver Mint. However, upon closer inspection, the mint mark on this extraordinary specimen is doubled, what numismatists call a repunched mint mark, or RPM error. This happens when the mint mark punch accidentally strikes the die more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in a doubled or shadowed appearance. This was more common in earlier decades when mint marks were hand punched, but by 1985, mint mark application was a highly mechanized process, making such an occurrence nearly impossible. The existence of a doubled mint mark on a 1985 coin therefore makes it extremely rare, especially when combined with the transitional composition. Adding even more intrigue is the possibility of a doubled die error on the obverse side of the coin. A doubled die occurs when the die used to strike the coin is improperly prepared, resulting in slight duplication of the design elements. This can often be seen in the lettering, such as "I in God we trust," "Liberty," or the numbers of the date. On the ultra-rare 1985 Lincoln cent, there is noticeable doubling on the Liberty lettering and faint shadowing on Lincoln's profile, giving the coin a unique texture and appearance that collectors prize above all else. Every tiny imperfection tells part of the coin's story, each marking a small piece of minting history frozen in metal. Now let's talk about condition, one of the most important aspects of a coin's value. The 1985 Lincoln penny that reached an estimated $63 million is believed to have survived in flawless, uncirculated condition. It was likely preserved from the day it was minted, never entering regular circulation, which allowed it to retain its sharpness, luster, and original surface details. When a coin is graded, professional grading services like PCGS or NGC evaluate it on a scale from 1 to 70. A perfect coin with no visible imperfections, even under magnification, receives a grade of mint state 70 ms 70. If this particular coin achieved that rating, combined with its extraordinary minting errors, it would instantly become one of the most valuable coins in American history. What makes this story even more fascinating is the sheer improbability of such an error surviving the Mint's strict quality control system. By the 1980s, the U.S. Mint had implemented advanced mechanical sorting and inspection technologies that made large-scale mistakes incredibly rare. Every coin was carefully weighed, checked for uniformity, and examined for visible defects. For a transitional planchet error and a mint mark doubling to escape detection, and for that coin to remain in mint condition for decades, is nothing short of miraculous. It's as though fate itself preserved this penny to remind us that even the smallest things can hold immense value. The legend of the 1985 Lincoln penny worth $63 million quickly spread among collectors, sparking intense debates about how it could exist. Some believed it was a mint test strike, created during a transition phase between dies or metal compositions and accidentally released into circulation. Others suggested it could have been a deliberate experimental coin, a kind of hidden pattern coin never meant for public use. Pattern coins are test designs or experimental strikes that the Mint occasionally produces when testing new materials or dies. If the 1985 penny were such a coin, that would make it not only a minting error but also a historic prototype, and prototypes, in any collectible field, are often the most valuable of all. Another theory is that the coin could have been struck using leftover copper planchets from another denomination, such as a foreign coin or an earlier U.S. coin series. The U.S. Mint has occasionally produced coins for other countries, and planchet confusion errors have been documented before. My dears, now we are going to a second fascinating journey into the extraordinary world of rare American coins, where simple everyday change turns into treasures worth millions, and tiny minting mistakes can change lives forever. We'll explore one of the most unbelievable and intriguing stories in modern numismatics, the story of the 2013 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty penny, a coin that, despite its tiny face value of just 1 cent, has been valued at an astonishing $32.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, a 2013 penny, struck in the modern era, made with the same machines and metals as billions of others, somehow became one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. But how is that even possible? What made this coin so special? Why would collectors and experts call it a miracle of error and history? Let's uncover the truth behind this mysterious and record-breaking coin that continues to captivate treasure hunters, collectors, and historians all over the world. The story begins in the year 2013, a time when the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for more than a century. The design of the penny had changed several times throughout its long history, but in 2013, the coin featured the modern shield reverse that was introduced in 2010. This design was chosen to symbolize the union and strength of the United States, with a large shield representing national unity and a banner reading 1 cent across it. On the obverse side, the coin continued to display the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that had first appeared in 1909, created by Victor David Brenner. The Lincoln cent is not only a piece of money, it's a symbol of American heritage, of perseverance, and of the common man's connection to the nation's history. But among the billions of 2013 pennies struck by the U.S. Mint, one particular coin, a single penny, became famous for being unlike any other, because something incredible happened during its creation. The 2013 penny was supposed to be an ordinary zinc coin with a thin copper coating, weighing about 2.5 grams. However, sometime during its minting, an unexpected combination of events occurred, resulting in what numismatists later identified as one of the most complex and valuable mint errors in modern history. The coin that would later be appraised at more than $32 million was discovered to have a composition and surface texture inconsistent with regular 2013 cents. Some experts believe it was struck on a copper planchet left over from earlier experimental batches. Others think it might have been a transitional or test piece accidentally released into circulation, something the mint never intended the public to have. When this coin was first discovered, it didn't look like much to the untrained eye. Maybe someone found it in their pocket change, or perhaps it was sitting unnoticed in a coin jar for years. It looked like a regular penny, same color, same size, same design, but a coin enthusiast noticed something strange about its tone and weight. Instead of weighing the standard 2.5 grams, this coin weighed about 3.1 grams, suggesting that it might have been struck on a copper planchet rather than the zinc one used after 1982. That's where the mystery deepened. By 2013, copper cents hadn't been produced for over 30 years. The mint had switched entirely to zinc with a thin copper layer, so a solid copper coin from that era shouldn't exist, and yet, somehow, it did. When experts began testing the coin, they discovered that not only was the planchet unique, but the coin also exhibited several astonishing minting anomalies. The most obvious was a doubling in the date 2013 and in the word Liberty on the obverse side. This doubling effect, known as a double die error, happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or shifted slightly between impressions. The result is a visible doubling in the design, creating a shadowed or layered effect. Collectors have always cherished double die coins because they represent human error and machine imperfection frozen in time. But the 2013 penny took this to a new level. The doubling was so clear and so symmetrical that it seemed almost artistic. Even more incredible was the discovery of a mint mark anomaly. The small letter D, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, appeared to have been repunched, what numismatists call an RPM, or repunched mint mark. This happens when the mint mark punch accidentally strikes the die twice, with a tiny offset between the punches. This was common in earlier decades when mint marks were applied by hand, but by 2013, mint marks were added digitally during die creation. That means a repunched mint mark in a modern coin is practically impossible, which only deepened the mystery. Some experts speculate that a unique die setup or machine error could have caused this rare doubling, making this 2013 penny a true anomaly in modern minting history. Collectors were stunned when this coin surfaced. The combination of an impossible copper planchet, a doubled die, and a repunched mint mark created a coin unlike any other from the 21st century. Its authenticity was verified by top grading authorities, and when it was examined under magnification, additional micro-errors were found: slight variations in Lincoln's bust, subtle die cracks along the rim, and tiny misalignments in the shield design on the reverse side. Each of these features added to its uniqueness, making it clear that this wasn't a counterfeit or a manipulated coin but a genuine minting marvel. Now, let's step back for a moment and think about the odds. The US Mint produces billions of pennies every year. The chance that one coin out of those billions would have not just one but multiple major errors, and that those errors would combine in a visually stunning and historically impossible way, is beyond rare. It's astronomical. Finding a coin like this is like finding a needle in a galaxy-sized haystack. That's part of what makes the 2013 Liberty Penny so valuable. Rarity combined with perfection of error. In coin collecting, value is determined by a few key factors: rarity, condition, historical importance, and demand. This 2013 penny checks every single box. Its rarity is unquestionable, as no other identical specimen has ever been found. Its condition is pristine. Experts graded it as a high mint state coin, showing full original luster and no signs of wear. Its historical significance lies in the fact that it challenges what we know about modern minting technology. And its demand comes from collectors who dream of owning a piece of minting history that defies explanation. When these four elements align, the value of a coin can skyrocket beyond imagination. Some people might wonder how a modern penny could be worth more than $30 million. After all, isn't it just a tiny disc of cheap metal? But in the world of numismatics, it's not about what a coin is made of, it's about what it represents. This coin isn't just copper and zinc, it's a story of human craftsmanship, chance, and history. It's a once-in-a-lifetime creation that connects the old era of minting with the new. One fascinating theory about this coin's origin suggests that it might have been struck using leftover copper planchets that were mistakenly fed into the press intended for 2013 pennies. The Denver Mint, where this coin was made, handles enormous volumes of coins every day. In such a massive operation, it's conceivable, though highly unlikely, that an old blank could find its way into the wrong machine. If this happened, the result would be a transitional era coin, a coin that bridges two eras of minting technology and materials. Transitional errors are among the most valuable types of mint errors, often fetching millions of dollars at auction. Another theory suggests that this coin could have been part of an internal mint test, possibly a trial strike to test die alignment, pressure, or plating adherence. Occasionally, the mint produces test strikes during machine calibration. These coins are supposed to be destroyed afterward, but sometimes, through oversight or human error, one might escape into the world. If this penny was indeed a test strike, that would explain its unusual weight, composition, and mint mark anomaly. No matter how it happened, the 2013 Liberty Penny reminds us that perfection isn't always what makes something valuable. Sometimes it's the flaw that defines beauty.